a very, very interesting discussion about champions to stars. Today evening, I want to welcome our moderator, Lynne Wachira, to take us from there. Lynne, kindly.
Thank you very much, Mutuko. And of course, people with a success mindset always figure out ways to make it happen, be it in sports or business. But can someone be of a success mindset without being disciplined? That's what we're tackling this evening. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're watching us from. Welcome to the 7th National Olympic Committee of Kenya Online Sports Conference. As you heard, I'm Lynne Wachira, and I will be your moderator this evening. We'll be looking at the mindset and discipline of success in sports. How crucial is it for one to succeed in sport? Two successful Kenyan athletes are with us tonight. They both were born on the same year and represented Kenya at the 2004 Olympic Games in Athens. Did they get to meet there? They will be telling us. Both of them have been to 5 world championships in their respective sports, volleyball and athletics. And as always, it's ladies first. Veteran Kenyan volleyballer Janet Wanja, joining us from the incredible Watamu. Karibu Wanja. And joining us from Eldoret is the marathon world record holder, the only man who has run the marathon in under 2 hours, Eliud Kipchoge. Eliud, welcome.
Thank you very much.
And Eliud, I know you have a question for Wanja, and I will let you go first.
Good evening, Wanja.
Good evening, Eliud.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Yes, I have a few questions for you. I have a lot of questions, but let me start with one question. The first question is, Wanja, I think we are almost the same age, but you know, it's also sport is actually hectic, and you look like a model. How are you mixing modeling and sport at the same
time? I'm not a model. I've only been sports.
You look one.
But for me, thank you. I really appreciate. But yeah, so I've only been in sports. I've never been a model. I know many people try to talk to me, you know, like I should try modeling, but my mind, my body was only into sports, and that is volleyball.
That's very nice, Wanja, to hear. And of course, say that your mind has always been in sports. Probably we start with now looking at discipline. As a daughter, I'm sure discipline is not foreign to you. It's actually part of your life. But how has it impacted your sport career?
Yeah, like you said, I'm a daughter of an ex-soldier and also a very religious mother. So at home, discipline was paramount. There was no shortcut. You had to respect people of your age and also adults. And I have to say, discipline is one of the main factors that has made me to be successful in sports, because it doesn't matter how good you are in anything, and it's not only in sports, but it doesn't matter how good you are in what you do. If you don't have discipline, then you can't go far. So I have to say, yeah, the discipline that I got from my parents has really helped.
And what would you say discipline has been to you as far as the sport is concerned? You know, what are some of the things that you can point out and say, I achieved this because I was disciplined, you know, because there was a talented player, probably even more talented than myself, you know, that being Wanja, who probably wasn't able to achieve as much as you have, and probably what prevailed for you was discipline.
Okay, being in a sports, in a team, like my sport, you know, is a team sport. It wasn't easy. I mean, being disciplined, for me, it was, you know, respecting the coach first, respecting your teammates, understanding their way of thinking, always respecting their opinion, because everyone has a different opinion. And also to be able to, you know, like timekeeping is also very important, because if you're always late for training, then that is also is one factor that can make you not to be successful. And, you know, I decided to also try and always be in court before the coach. I trained by myself. I mean, I would start training before the coach was there. And this really helped, you know, like I never used to wait for the coach to come and tell me you have to do this, you have to do that. I always started training before the coach was there. And yeah, for me, this is a great discipline. It's number one, like timekeeping.
Discipline right in play there. And Eliud Kipchoge, we're throwing this to you now. What is discipline? What does discipline mean to you? And how crucial is it for one to succeed in sport and in life in general?
Oh, I think I will talk of self-discipline, not really discipline. You know, self-discipline is what drives me, is what drives any other human being, be it in sport, be it in business, be it in education. That's what self-discipline is. But all in all is that it takes one actually to actually set priorities right in order for me or for somebody else to have self-discipline. If you set your priorities right, then you are on the right step. Secondly is that in order to have self-discipline, you need to learn to say no, and you need to learn to say yes. If you don't know how to say no and how to say yes, then you are not a self-disciplined man or self-disciplined human. On the other hand is that I always make my self-discipline my lifestyle, and that's what has been my driver for all those years I've been in sport.
Okay, and that is, of course, self-discipline. And what is the difference, of how connected or intertwined is self-discipline and the success mindset? You know, just having this mindset where you know success is your goal and nothing can turn you away from that.
You know, without self-discipline, then success is just nothing. But you know, self-discipline is what guides you. It is what actually brings you back to the course when you are actually outside there. When you are in lane 8 or you want to go outside the lane 8, self-discipline is what brings you back to up to lane 1. So it's that crucial thing that makes everybody to be successful. But above all is that I don't believe in success personally, but I believe in preparation and planning, which can actually translate to easy success. That means when I prepare well and actually be self-disciplined on the way, then during the right day, then implementation actually will be really as easy as something else.
And Eliud, I mean, it's ironical when you say you don't believe in success, and
yes,
you are very successful. People of all walks of lives, not just sports, look up to you. I mean, kindly explain what you mean by you don't believe in success.
Oh, success is a core thing. It's like a mountain, and the top of the mountain is not important, but what holds the mountain is critical, crucial. So we need actually to actually fine-tune the sides of the mountain in order for us to reach the top and be at that apex. What I mean is this: if you don't prepare well and plan well, then you cannot be successful. If you prepare well, actually, and walk your talk daily, then you are already successful and you will succeed. So there is nothing that you cannot sleep and actually expect to be successful, but you need to wake up, work hard, and that's preparation, and that's what can be translated to success.
And Eliud, that's you saying, in short, success is a result of something. And Wanja, I will bring this to you.
I will say success, let me define success according to me. Success is not that. Success is it's that mastery. It's mastering what you are doing. If you master what you are doing in your daily life, then you are already successful.
We will throw this to Wanja. Wanja, what is success to you?
I think I will agree with Eliud. I mean, success is really, if you, and I will use his words, is, you know, like if you get to, like what he said was like, success is if you master what you like try to learn. And but for me, I believe in success, but I'll talk about mindset. I personally know that there are two types of mindset. There's fixed mindset and there's growth mindset. And I think for a person who has a fixed mindset, is you usually think like there's a level to where you are, like you get to a level and you say, you know what, I'm successful. For a person who has a growth mindset, you always think like there's a room for improvement. You want to grow even more. I don't know if you get my point. So for me, success is, you know, you don't get success by sleeping. You work hard. You have to sacrifice a lot. You have to get many negativity, critics. But if you're able to, you know, push the hurdles and everything aside and to cross over it, then for me, this is success.
And Wanja, I know for you, mindset has really played a huge role in your success. A career spanning over a decade, you know, representing Kenya at the Olympics at just 20. Kindly tell us, you know, what has your journey been like? You know, has it been easy? You know, there are people who look at you and say, oh, Wanja is very successful, but how has it been like for you?
Okay, so born in 1984. I will go back a little bit in the barracks. I started playing when I was 12 years, like I joined volleyball when I was 12 years. My coach was the ex-player and the veteran of Kahawa Youth Volleyball Team, Juma Waloko. Initially, I was not interested in sports. I was a very shy little girl. And then one day he just told me, you know what, you can come and try to play. So I decided, okay, yes. And when I was young, I was a very sickly child. I had allergies. I had so many problems health-wise. And with this, when I decided to go back, my mom was not very supportive when I decided to start playing volleyball. But then I kept on sneaking at home, going to play, and when I go back home, my mom would give me a thorough beating. But my dad was there because he was a sports person. He was in football, he was a very good hockey player. So for me, my dad was like my support system that time. So I went to the primary school, and like I said, I come from a very humble family where we would even go hungry many times, would not have something to eat. But after I finished primary school, I had to stay home for 1 year because of lack of school fees. But I kept on playing volleyball for Kahawa Youth. And then at some point, my mom had to support me playing volleyball because now she started seeing the fruits of playing volleyball or being in sports. And so I finished primary, stayed home for 1 year. And because we used to go, Kahawa Youth, we used to go for tournaments. We would play with big clubs like now Kenya Pipeline, my current club. Then there was Telcom Kenya team. And because of playing in this tournament, there was this now Mukumu Girls High School. They spotted me, and one time they came home, they told my mom they would like to give me a scholarship, and they're going to pay for everything that I needed. And so my mom accepted. So when I went to Mukumu, I was still not sure about volleyball. You know, I was still feeling like, no, maybe I should not do this. I wanted to stay home with my mom. And it was difficult to leave my parents, you know, because I was used to staying with my parents, seeing my parents every day. And then after that, in 2001, I was called for the Junior World Championship qualifiers, which, by the way, I will tell you, I was not, I didn't start volleyball as a setter. I was an attacker. And when I joined the junior team, the coach decided to change my position. And for the qualifications, I was dropped. So when I went back to school, my coach told me, if you want, you can still be a setter or you can go on being an attacker. So I decided, you know what, I was dropped because of this position and I want to be a setter, and I took it as a challenge. And in 2002, I became the first setter. That was in a span of a year. I became now a good setter, and I made it to Croatia for the World Championship. And then 2003, I finished high school. I joined the national team, senior team, immediately. And now this is where the challenges came. Because coming from high school, joining a team where you meet veterans, old players, you know, you come and they see you as a threat. The position that you're playing, they see you as a threat. There was a lot of negativity, there was a lot of criticism, but I decided to focus on positivity. I decided to take up on the challenges. You know, I just decided, you know what, I want to do this. Whatever they tell me, I'll take in the good advice. I'll take anything that they tell me in a positive way. I was, like Eliud said before, you have to learn to say yes and you have to learn to say no. So anytime maybe a player would come and tell me, you know what, you're not a good player, I would say, no, I know I'm a good player and I know I'm going to go far with volleyball. There was tribalism. There were so many hardships, but being a disciplined player, you know, listening to the coach, listening to even those ones that were trying to pull me down, I would still listen to them. I would still respect them. But I'm happy. I'm here, and I decided to go through either hardships, zote zenye nilipitia. I just decided to focus on the good things and on the positive things.
Well, thank you so very much, Wanja. Focus is something that you've spoken about. And to you, Eliud, Wanja right there speaking of challenges and how she managed to maneuver them just because, you know, a strong mindset and positivity. And to you, Eliud, many look at you as a successful athlete because you are. Would you say that in the course of your career, you faced obstacles, challenges? Do you even believe in obstacles and challenges?
Oh, any career, especially my career, actually has not been smooth. It's not really smooth. You cannot, like, you know, sport is like life, and life is not actually smooth all the time. So it has been bumpy and it has been really smooth on the other side. At areas you can find bumps and small bumps, big bumps, and you can, that's the way to go. But all in all is that obstacles around, I don't believe on it, but I love to go through it. I love to actually treat them as challenges. Anytime I face the challenge in sport is the time whereby I call it a challenge, and I take it as a lesson. So I don't lose, I always learn. That's what I've been doing for the last 17 years. And I have learned how to actually know that, to define what sport is, to know what is required in order to be successful. I've been doing my preparations well. I've been trying to be more organized. I've been trying to think positive as far as sport is concerned. I've been actually the believer of teamwork. That's why I always believe in a philosophy whereby I say that 100% of myself is nothing compared to 1% of the whole team. That means teamwork. So I always treat teamwork as a first class thing. Secondly is that I always identify my mentor, which is actually my coach, Patrick Sang. And you know, in life you need to know who is your best setter. Are they pacing you well? I don't mean that the best setter in track, but even in life, whom are you relating to? Whom are you working to? You know, always treat character first before the integrity. You know, character is important than integrity. If you have a good character, if you are going around with good people, then integrity will come its own. Lastly is that I am actually a good practitioner of change. I love change, and I think change is what makes life go on in a smooth way. Change is what actually makes people to wake up and actually adopt to what the world needs as far as sports is concerned. And I'm been a big believer of myself. And above all, no human is limit. And I don't believe in limits. I don't think that there is limit somewhere, but it's only exists in your brain. Thank you.
Eliud, a deep believer in yourself. And I would love to ask you a question. To
Yes.
so many people right now, the image that is etched in their minds, in their hearts, is the numerous times that you've been crossing the line first, you know, holding
Yes.
the Kenyan flag, sometimes just you throwing your arms into the air. And many would wonder, has there been a time when you've actually sat and thought, you know what, that was really tough? You know, has there been a time where you would say you probably almost did give up, contemplated giving up?
I think I have never think of actually giving up in life, but you know, the moment I lose the rest, then I will accept, and that's the only way to enjoy sport. But you know, I'm still very focused, and even if I feel that really I cannot perform today, but I still go out, I still go to the track, I still run and make sure that I performed it to a certain level, although I don't feel like doing it, but it's the way, it's what's required in sport as a career.
And to you, Wanja, that's Eliud there speaking and being honest and saying, of course, there are days that have been difficult, but then you have to wake up and still keep going. Probably to you, Wanja, what would you consider as your probably biggest challenge in the sport, and how did you overcome that?
First, I do pray a lot, but to overcome the challenges, I have this positive self-talk, first of all. You know, every time you talk to yourself and say, you know what, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna cross this hurdle. And then there was that motivation. I always motivated myself. I mean, everyone has a bad day in the office. Sometimes you would go feel like, you know, it's not working. But then I will not lie to you, Lynne. Sometimes I would cry. Most of the time I would cry when I fail, because in life there are failures. You have to fail and rise, but how you are able to pick up yourself from the failures is what that matters. So for me, when I failed, I would go back to the drawing board and know what was the reason I failed? Why didn't I perform the way I was supposed to perform? But now this is another thing, being in team sport, you know, like it's not just about you. It's not just about you. Of course, you have to do your best, and then your teammate has to do her best. And when everyone does their best, then you become successful. But as a person, I would say I just went back to the drawing board. No, like, this is what I want. This is my target. This is what I want to do to be able to help my team to win. Crying is normal. You can cry if you want, but after crying, you can't just, you know, like unalia, unajifunika, unasema, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. So I was able to control my emotions, you know, because if you're not able to control your emotions during failures, when you feel like things are not going the way you want them to go, then that's a big problem for you. So yeah, it's just the way you motivate yourself. And for me, it was prayers and working hard, you know, like after working even more hard. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Wanja. And
Lynne, let me ask you one question to Anja. That it's actually pole vault is a team event, but let me ask you a simple question. They have a lot of teammates, but is there any time whereby they are competing by themselves, either in training or actually during the real game? Is Wanja actually sensing some competitions between her teammates? Are you seeing that competition? And do you think if there is that competition, do you think that's what makes you people to lose and not to win the big title?
You know, personally, yes, I know I love competition, and in team sport, not only in the club, but even in the national team, there's a lot of competition. Every year you get a new player in your position. And it depends how you take the competition. You know, if you take competition positively, you work even hard because you don't want this player to be better than you, but not in a bad way. You don't become jealous. You understand? Because there's jealousy and there's that competition where
I
you take
understand,
it
yes.
positively. But I don't, of which, yeah, there are some players who are jealous, like when they see you becoming better than them, or you're like, I don't know how to really put it, but you know, wanakuangalia wanaona, this one is a threat. So there starts to be rumors and there starts to be like gossiping. So yeah, this really affects the team performance. It does, but I thank God because most of the coaches that I had, they would talk us through this. You know, they would notice when this player is being jealous or this player is taking competition in a positive way, and then we would have meetings and yeah, we would fix that. But jealousy really affects team results.
Okay, thank you, Wanja, and for answering that question. And Julius Yego is watching and following the webinar on Facebook, and I would like to read his contribution. He says he likes the panelists, Wanja and Eliud, and he says you're really talking some sense into what sports life is like. He says you are on point. Nothing is smooth. It's all about facing struggles, ups and downs, and climbing mountains. And to Eliud, a question that has also come from a viewer, Tom Olal, who is watching the webinar, following the webinar on Zoom. He's asking, what makes you better as you prepare for the next event? And the next question is, how do you keep and maintain focus and have your eyes on the prize?
You know, let me answer this way. After every event, then I call it off that event and actually forget. I always say that it's like a tree whereby I am going after a tree, and immediately when I get the branch, then I need to forget that branch and aim for the next one. So what makes me actually to focus is that appetite of still wanting to actually grab another opportunity or to perform well. That's what makes me actually to get focused. And what is in front of my mind is inspiration. I want to inspire the whole world. I want to make running actually a lifestyle, a family lifestyle. If all of us actually could actually make running our lifestyle, then the world will be fruitful, it will be peaceful. That's what I'm really. I trust I will do it before I call it off the sport.
And Eliud, Tom Olal still asks a very good question. What is a champion mentality or a mindset like? And I will tell you something. I remember at the end of the INEOS challenge, I don't know if you actually realized how huge the achievement was, but I remember asking you at the finish line, do you realize how many Kenyans you have inspired, and what do you tell them? I told you Kenyans were celebrating, and you said, let them celebrate, but I think it's over. Like, it's over, let's move on. How can you just move on? You know, how do you make sure that success doesn't get to you?
Let me tell you that the world is moving, and when the world is moving, I will answer you because you are a woman. That we are in a pandemic, and everybody is saying the world has stopped. Is it right?
Well, yes.
But let me tell you, the world has not. It has stopped.
Has it?
But the world has not yet stopped. So it's. I don't think it has stopped, and I think many people know how to put it. But you know, when you put success actually to sing in your mind, then that's the end of you. Success is actually when you succeed, then you need actually to say thank you for that success and move on for the next target. And you know, I was taught actually to take my feet on the ground, not on high knees. That's what I am doing. And after Ineos, when I became the first human being to run under 2 hours, then I said, so I have done. And the 12th of October 2019 will never come again in my life. And but the performance will be there. So it's actually it can sing in my mind, but it cannot actually the one to drive me every now and then. You know, every day is a challenge. Every day is a new day. Monday is a new day. Tuesday is another day. So we need to actually move with the wall and see the difference. But the performance will stay forever. But life will move every day.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I've actually learned something as well. And Wanja, I'm throwing something to you that has come from Julius Yego, the most successful African javelin thrower, obviously. And he says, kindly ask Wanja and Eliud how they have managed to be in top form for that long. I mean, remember, both of you have been in the sport for over a decade. I will throw it to you, Wanja. Then Eliud, you come in after Wanja and tell us how you've managed to stay on top for that long. Wanja.
Discipline, discipline, discipline. Like I said, it's not easy. It's not easy to maintain your form. It's not easy. There are times when you're high, there are times when you're low, but you have to stay focused. You have a goal, you know, you set your goals, right? And for me, I would say, you know what, I still want to go further. For me, there's always, I always tell myself there's a room for improvement. I didn't get enough of what I achieved, you know, like now winning the African Championship. After, like Eliud said, the world is moving. I never said, okay, you know what, I've won African Championship, so that's it. It's always trying to learn more. I like watching videos, games on YouTube to learn more and more because, you know, our standard in Africa and in Europe, they're totally different. For example, so I would watch many videos of the setters of, like, for example, Japan and everything. So I wanted to get better and better and better, and this really helped. You know, learning new things, always ready to get advices or to get critics, and this really, if you take anything positively, then you get to learn more and more, and this really helps you in your growth. So I've managed to be, you know, like consistent in my performance because of discipline, then, and you know, accepting your mistakes. After every match or after every competition, I would go sit, watch myself playing, maybe on the video, you know, like to know where was I going wrong, where do I need to improve, and this really helps an athlete, you know, to be consistent.
Eliud, on how have you managed to be on top form for so long, having won your first world championship in 2003, before you actually got to 20?
Actually, you know, it's what keeps me on the track for that long is self-discipline, knowing what I'm actually knowing what I want tomorrow and even the next day. So it's this way. You know, how to cultivate discipline is learning to say no to your feelings and to your impulses. So when you become successful, then success comes with many things. If you don't control and if you don't leave success aside and become a human being, then you cannot go anywhere. I have been a human. Let me tell I think that was Yako who was asking the question. I've been a human being for the last 17 years. I've never been actually that called celebrity. I'm a human being. The moment you actually consume yourself on the success and how the society values you, that's the end of you. I've been actually being selective on what to do and where to sit in and where to walk in and where to walk out. And I think Yako knows what's going on. This is, we are living in a society whereby my age and even the age of Yako, because I think I am older than Yako, is that many ages of Yako, when they, after World Championships, they say, we need to say thank you to the body, which is nonsense. And you know, people are saying thank you and going to maybe to drinking or something else. That's what will throw you out of the track. There is you don't enjoy life by actually going to many things. You enjoy life by getting the right people to walk in. I'm not saying that Yako is jumping on that, but I'm generalizing on the hate, my hate, and the hate of Yako. So it's defining what you want. It's actually ping on the track all the time. It's knowing what you are doing for Taulia. In January, I need to train up to May, whereby I will be competing. I could relax for 1 month. What I have not been doing for those 4 months. Come back to training. Run a marathon in October. Relax in November. Come back in December. Life is continuing. Life is a cycle, and in that cycle, you need to maintain that cycle. Don't need to jump outside the cycle. You need to be within the cycle and do what the cycle needs, do what the cycle wants. And actually, you know, when you are in the cycle, there is something which everywhere is actually left and right. There is some good things and bad things, but you need to be in that cycle, even if it's sweet or what. Then you actually, they say when you get a good deal, please think twice. So always be on the right track.
But Eliud, what are you saying to that young athlete? When they get a good deal, think twice, but it's a good deal.
You know,
and everybody's
it's a
looking for a good deal. How do they know what is a good deal and what is not a good deal?
What is inside the deal? You can see the deal as a ball, but what's inside that ball? Is that ball actually, is it fire inside? Is it only hair? Is it some few things? So you need to know what's inside there before you actually grab that deal. The youth should know that. It should go slowly. Actually seek advices from those who have been there before, and those who have been there before, but the right people who have been doing the right thing at the right time.
Wanja, Eliud right there really speaking to that young person who is looking for a deal and is not sure what is a good deal. I remember in 2011 when your brother, Kevin Kimani, won the Footballer of the Year award, he said that he looks up to you. You're his role model. And I'm wondering, to those very young girls, 17 years old, 18, that look up to you, what would you say to them? You know, what would you say to a 17-year-old Wanja?
Nothing comes easy. To be successful, you have to be patient. You have to be disciplined. You know, and when I talk about patience, isn't, you know, nowadays you find these young people, they want quick money. And in sports, you don't get that quick money. You have to work hard, you have to be patient, you have to like be strong mentally, physically. And for you to like, for me, like for them that look up to me like our role model, I would just tell them, patience is the key. Patience is the key, because in sports, especially in Kenya, we don't have that good salary at first, you know. And then you have to go to, and I will talk about volleyball. Before a team takes you, before a team gives you a contract, they have to like evaluate you to see, are you like a future star? You know, like the coaches, they don't want to sign you for the next 3 years, because now most clubs, they're giving you contracts for 3 years. So you have to be patient. Like, pesa haikuji haraka. So if you're not patient, and then you get, for example, and I'm talking as a woman now, girls, they get lured very easily with money, you know, rich, because you have to provide for yourself. You want to look beautiful, you want to dress nicely. And if you're not patient, you get a man who tells you, you know what, I want to take you out, or I want to give you money, I want to sponsor you. So you're going to choose this guy who is giving you money instead of, you know, nurturing your talent, being patient with your talent. So I want to tell this young 17-year-old girl or 18 that you have to be patient. You have to be disciplined. You have to be open-minded, like you have to learn how to like kujituma. You have to work hard. You can't just tell me that I want to be like Wanja, and you're not working hard. You just want to wake up and be successful. No? So just be patient, be disciplined, work hard, and everything will fall into place.
And Wanja, thank you for that. And it looks like someone is offering you a job. Paul Bitok, Malkia Strikers head coach, is saying, congratulations to my player Wanja and my friend Kipchoge for the great success in sports. I'm looking forward to see Wanja as a setters coach in the near future, and for Kipchoge, of course, to take up coaching in athletics. But then Bitok is asking you, Wanja, in the near future, can you confirm you would be interested in coaching? Quickly.
Of course, of course. This year I was planning to go for a coaching course, but because of the pandemic, there's nothing going on. But yes, definitely, I want to be a coach. And I'm not sure yet if I want to be a coach for senior team. I would like to start with a young team, you know, like 12 years, like the way I started. I would definitely want to give back to the community, and that's by coaching, and if possible, even to start an academy.
Okay, thank you. And Eliud, coming to you, but before that, Kenya Sevens player Collins Injera on Facebook, following the webinar, says, great discussion. It takes a lot of things both on and off the field to create a successful environment for team sports as well as individual sports. Like Eliud said, people love seeing the apex of the mountain, but never interested on the sides. And that is where athletes need to focus on, because that is where the magic is. And Eliud, to you, that brings me to asking you, you always say, a lot of times you've said that you do not run with your feet, but with your mind. Is this what you mean, focus?
Absolutely. I always say I don't run with my feet, but I run with my heart and my mind. Actually, you can train perfectly 80% to 100%. But if your heart and your mind is not there, then you are just nothing. You are an empty shell. But if you are strong mentally, actually, then you are actually ready to go. It's good actually to be mentally strong and mentally fit than to be physically fit. But in general, in sport, you need to be physically fit. But physical fit, bearing in mind that your mind should be a part of actually the physical fitness.
And Eliud, a question that is directed to you by Rosemary Owino, who is following the webinar on Zoom, is saying, thank you so much for such a great conversation, both for the athletes as well as for everyone else. Rosemary's question is, do you think one might require some form of intelligence to maintain a mindset that promotes success? And if so, how do you recommend that both coaches and athletes go about improving this? Does someone require a certain level of intelligence to have a mindset of success? Is it a decision? Are you born with it? What is it?
We learn everything, but not that everybody actually has his own intelligence. But everybody actually is sharp. Everybody is doing what. But how do you take it? How do you treat yourself? How do you take sport? What is needed in sport? This is 21st century, whereby we need actually to bring on both many things. We need to bring on technology, and technology actually is going on with the development. So if you don't understand all these things, then you actually be a mere person, a mere sportsman. But you need to rise above being a mere person. No, in Kenya and in Africa, a sportsman doesn't think beyond their performance. It's not how to perform, but how do you carry yourself? Let me tell you that I might run 202 in marathon, and there is a person who might run 205. But the one who runs to a fire know how to carry himself, and he knows how to relate, how to talk with people, how to actually mingle with people, and he is actually more attractive to sponsors and to other people around the world than somebody who is running fast. So you need to actually be more intelligent on what's going on in the world and perform well. If you combine the two, then you are ready to go. But generally, I think they say if somebody actually can train and become fitter, then that person is intelligent. It's only to fine-tune his or her own intelligence and make him or her aware that he is a human being and he should be working around the sport and actually know what's required as far as the new world is concerned.
And Eliud, before I throw it back to Wanja, there's a follow-up question. You've spoken about the world looking like it has stopped, and Evelyn Watson of Olympic Channel would like to know, what can you say or talk about the power of sports in uniting people, especially at this time?
Wanja or me?
No, Eliud, you, Kipchoge. Before I throw it back to Wanja.
It's let me say it this way. It's good that a woman asked that question.
Mm-hmm.
Say that the world has stopped. The world has not yet stopped. The world is going on. Even if the world stopped, the manly period stopped. It will not stop. We need to go on. But all in all is that we need to know, sport is what will drive the world. Let me give you an example that 73% of the people who are in ICU for this COVID-19 are people who are not fit. So the world will rule, the sport will rule the world. And the sport is the only way to make the world actually beautiful and in unity and to unify the world. If all of us actually can adopt sport as our lifestyle thing in our families and in our lives, then actually we'll be in unity and we'll crisscross all the world actually, and development will actually go very fast.
And Eliud, beyond COVID-19, you've seen the protests about equality. Probably,
Yes.
What role can sport really play? Sport is a powerful tool.
It's true, sport is a powerful tool. I too support actually those who are actually fighting for their rights. But we need to fight for our rights in a good way, whereby we don't actually break into somebody's premises. We don't break the property, we don't ban cars, but we actually tell people our sentiments, what we are not happy about it in a modern way, and not in the way of demonstrating. So it's especially at this pandemic, you can't demonstrate because we are spreading the COVID-19 in really in a huge way. So I really support those who are fighting for their rights, but fight for your right in a good way. I don't say I don't support them, but all in all is that fighting the right by respecting another person's right is really as good as anything else.
Okay, thank you very much. And Wanja, I will throw a question to you coming from Martin K, who is following the conversation on Zoom. And he says, I've had the pleasure of interacting with both Eliud and Janet during their careers. Something that stands out in both of them is their humility, despite their tremendous success. Can you share, Wanja, why it's important in our culture to stay humble?
It's important because it doesn't pay to be rude to people or not to be humble. I mean, being humble, you even, like, I don't know if I'm humble, but I thank Keno for thinking that I'm humble. But, coming from the background that I come from, my mom always taught me that, being humble is also a way to receive blessings, and being humble is something that even makes you feel good, you know, respecting people's opinions. Just because I'm successful doesn't mean that I have to see other people like they are no ones, you know, like downgrading other people. So it really helps in life to be humble. It does.
Okay.
No matter who you are, no matter how successful you are, just be humble.
Thank you very much for that. Of course, indeed, be humble. And I will throw a question back to Eliud. Too many questions for you, Eliud. And there's Jerry D from Poland, who is following the webinar. And as, of course, this year, focus was on the Olympics before the pandemic. And he says, is it a positive side of the pandemic lockdown that you are finally getting a lot of time to spend with your children? And what are the examples of how you're teaching them to be disciplined and the benefits of it, Eliud? This is on discipline. And, you know, for any parent who is wondering how can they instill discipline in their kids, right? Or that they're spending so much time with them.
I think it's I think lockdown actually is positive on us as parents, but you know, I'm always teaching them to think positive. I'm always encouraging them to work hard. I hope my children will be actually responsible in future. I'm trying to tell them to be self-responsible and actually know how to handle and know what's right and what's wrong in their near future. That's my struggle at the moment.
Okay, thank you. And to Wanja, how are you managing during the pandemic mindset? Are you training? Are you taking time to relax? What is it like for you? Do you miss volleyball?
Actually, yes, I do miss volleyball. It's been 6 months since I played volleyball, but of course, I'm still doing personal training. I have to be fit because after this COVID-19, I have to go back to the court. So yeah, I'm just doing, I'm thinking about my future plans at the moment, but yes, I'm training, I'm doing personal training because I have to think after volleyball, what else do I have to do? So this is also a time for me to self-reflect and to really think about my future after volleyball.
Okay, thank you very much. And Eliud, to you, how are you managing to stay focused when you probably don't have a specific race that you're training for, a specific time of competition? How are you able to still wake up and go train? Are there times that you say it's probably a bit, too cold, and then you decide to sleep in a bit? How has it been like for?
I'm always focused, and I'm still waking up in the morning and even going to the training in the evening. So I'm always ready for anything. That's why I'm ready for any uncertainty. So I'm still going out in the morning and in the evening to run because I don't know what will happen tomorrow. I don't want actually the world to open very soon and cut me when I am 30% fit, which will give me more time to share the unfitness in my blood. So I'm always ready. Like in life, you should be ready for everything every morning. So I'm ready. I personally don't set a call so that I can focus. I'm always focused, even without setting a call.
And Eliud, there are many athletes who train. Not just athletes who run, but in all the sports. The Olympics, not there. The Africa Cup of Nations, qualifiers, and so many other competitions have been either cancelled or postponed. For that young athlete who is probably wondering, what am I training for? I was focused on qualifying for the Olympics. The Olympics are not there. They're there next year. Would you tell, what would you say to them? That 17-year-old, 19-year-old, even 30-year-old?
Let me give an example that you are in Form 1 and you want to do your last exam for whole level in the next 4 years. You cannot sit and wait for the last year so that you can revise. You cannot wait for that last month so that you can revise for your exam. You should be ready all the time. And remember, this pandemic is not suicide. This thing will go, and we should be ready all the time. So for the young people, somebody who is 17, please be focused, set your priorities right, actually be consistent, be patient, know what's going on, ask for an advice. But for the 30-year-old who has actually had many things and has actually won many races in the whole world, please show responsibility to the other young people, show responsibility to the other young sportsmen and women by actually getting focused and being organized all the time. You know, you cannot actually, I come from a Rift Valley. I live in Elre, whereby it's a bread basket for the whole country as far as agriculture is concerned. But in January, you can find the Holdemen actually tilling their farms and purchasing the seedlings, prospect and everything. Yet the rain is coming. They don't know whether it will rain or not. Then in sport, we need to train all the time, even if you don't know when are you going to run. If you are that person who actually you want actually to be given a call so that you can train, then I think actually you are not a professional. Then you are somebody. Then you change the profession. If you want, if you know that you cannot stick or you cannot walk your talk, change profession and do something else.
That's quite a challenge, Eliud, and you're not mincing your words. Very tough right there. And Wanja, there's a question coming and asking both of you the lowest points in your careers and how you got through that, of course, through mindset. And for you, I remember when you turned 30, you know, there were a lot of issues coming from people thinking that now Wanja is too old, can't be in the team, you know, even sections of the media, of course, saying you should be dropped. At some point, you were dropped from the team. But 6 years later, you've once and again tried to rise up and made it back to the team and still stood out. How have you managed to do this? How has mindset played a role in this?
You know, you can be whatever you want, Lynne. And yeah, that was my lowest moment actually, being dropped. And for me, I was still capable of, you know, helping the team, both national team and the club. And I started receiving, you know, like messages, people were posting things, the media were posting saying that, you know, I'm old, I should give young players a chance. But, you know, I didn't let this get into my head because, first of all, most of the people that were saying I'm 30, they're people that they've never even seen me training, you know, so I can't let someone's opinion make me forget what I've been fighting for the whole of my life, you know. It's okay to have an opinion, but me, I'm not a person that can let someone tell me, hey, you're not good, and I just say, you know what, I'm not good, so I have to stop doing this. So after being dropped and being told that I was old, I kept on pushing hard. I kept on training. I kept telling myself that I'm good and I can still do this. And yeah, I'm here. I'm still energetic. I still train hard until the day that I will decide, you know, this is the time that I'm gonna retire.
Okay. Thank you, Wanja, for the resilience and encouraging someone who might be thinking that probably they're too old. There's nothing like too old in sports. And Eliud, do you have...
Age is just but a number.
Age is just but a number. And Eliud, is there a point in your career that you can pick or remember as the lowest point and how you overcame it?
Yes, let me talk first of the age. And let me ask you, because you are a moderator, who is the best footballer?
Messi, I would say.
Are you sure?
Cristiano.
Well, yes.
Who earns more in the
actually
world
going
as
to
far as
ask
football
me,
is concerned?
Eliud, I thought you were going to ask me who is the best marathoner because that's easy.
No, I'm coming there. Who is the best footballer?
Messi.
Who earns more between Messi and Ronaldo?
Ronaldo.
Who is older?
I am probably, okay, Ronaldo.
Yes, Ronaldo is 35. Last week when he was reporting to the training camp in Juventus, he reported 4 hours earlier than others footballers.
Very true.
Ronaldo is the best at 5. There is a 20-year-old kid in Juventus who cannot match Ronaldo. What I'm trying to say is that let us get focused. Let us not see the age. Let us see the effort and the skills. Let me come to your question that 2012 I was really down when I missed a flight to Olympics in London by actually missing a slot in 10K and 5K. That was my lowest moments. But all in all is that I go back, sit, and come back again to know that missing one big event is not suicide. Tomorrow is another day.
Okay, but how did you overcome that? And would you say that is what set you up to what you have now, to success?
I treat that as a challenge. I overcome that by understanding what a challenge is in sport. I understand why I failed, and it's not actually a lose, but I learn from failing. I learn from actually being closed out of the team for London Olympics, which I did. For 10 years in track and field, I always join every championship. But it was shock for me to miss 2012 Olympic Games. It was really shocking news to me. It goes all from my toe to my head. All blood was actually moving up and down. But I treat that challenge and go back the next day as training. But I am being surrounded by actually good professional people. My coach is a life coach. My coach is more important than anybody else, and he knows how to handle people who are actually in a bad situation like when I was in 2012. And that's where I am today.
Okay, thank you very much. Of course, being surrounded by people who really hold you together is very important for the mindset. And Wanja, would you say the same about the people you associate with closely?
Yeah, for sure. They always say, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. If you spend a lot of time with negative people, then trust me, your mind is always going to be filled with negativity. But if you choose to stay with people who only speak positivity, then that's the way you're going to follow. You will just be positive. So people that you surround yourself with, they really matter for success. You can't be successful if you're surrounding yourself with people who are not, their mind is like, they don't want success, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I totally agree with Eliud.
Okay, thank you very much. And Wanja, before I let you go, I think there's a question I saw that is for you, but I will read a comment first because I seem to have lost the question. Lydia Kapara, who is following on Zoom, says, inspiring story from Wanja, a journey to great success. Interesting comments from Eliud. Very well done to both of you. Eliud, I have a question for you from Daniel Gonzalez Lopez, who is asking you, what has been your toughest race so far?
My toughest race was Ineos 159 challenge. It took all my mind. I was running against it that unthinkable, and that's what consumed all my thoughts. And I can say it was really hard because I didn't know what will happen. And remember, one person running and failing the whole world could be a disaster.
And before, because time is really over, but before we go and before I give both of you time for your closing remarks, Eliud, I'll start with you before I go to Wanja. Someone wanted to know, do you ever listen to music? What kind of music do you listen to? And does music play any role in mindset?
So I normally listen to music, and I want to actually encourage everybody who is watching this webinar to actually look for Kelly Clarkson. Kelly Clarkson has a good music. So you can really listen to that, and you know, it's a good song. If you if you listen to it, you can rise up and go everywhere you want.
And also, because I know, and a lot of people know that you're a very, you're an avid reader. What role would you say books have played in your mindset? And do you have a book that you can say top of head that probably changed your life?
You know what they say, if you are actually to get knowledge, there is only two things: meeting new people and reading books. There is a lot of knowledge in books. If you want, I am reading books because I need to get knowledge, and I will recommend to anybody because of this pandemic to read Who Took My Cheese. In other words, it talks about change. You know, the pandemic will change the world. It will change the way we live for the rest of our lives. And they need to, it's a very small book whereby you can read for 2 hours and it's over, or even 1 hour for those faster readers. So it's good to read and get more knowledge.
Okay. Wanja, how much do you read? Do you listen to music? You know, tell us what kind of books you read and what kind of music you listen to.
I'm not so much into reading. For me, I just love reading the Bible, but music, for sure. I love music. Actually, music is one way of me motivating myself, like before training, and mostly when we are about to play a match. I'm sure you know how Malkia strikers, before any match, we love to sing and dance, and it really plays a big part to our performance during the match. So yeah, I love music so much.
Okay, thank you. Eliud,
Lynne,
before,
excuse me, before you give me one more chance, let me ask you one question.
it's okay, take the chance.
If today actually, let me ask you one question.
To who? To Wanja or
you
to me?
And to Wanja.
To me and to Wanja, okay, ask.
Only Wanja, to Wanja.
Okay, cool. Wanja, a question to you from Eliud.
If actually somebody approached you and asked you, where do you want Kenya to go? Or how do you want to see Kenya in the future, in general? What will be your answer?
Is that in sports or general?
It's general in sport and in Kenya is our country. How do you want to see Kenya in the future?
I mean, we have some issues, but I don't know. I want us to be developed, you know, like, because now we have many challenges. I know every country has their challenges, but I would like us to get maybe not like America, but somewhere, I don't know how to say it, but wow, that question is tough. I never thought about that one.
Yes,
but in sports, I would say I would like us to be. If you had asked me about volleyball, then maybe it would have been easier, but I never thought about where I would like Kenya to be.
So let me ask you another question. If tomorrow our president actually, I'll be seeing this webinar, say, decided to give Wanja a very plump job in the ministry, will you take it?
Honestly, I don't know, but I think I would, you know,
Okay.
because if, I think I would. But honestly, Eliud, I would like you to be my life coach.
Yes, will you fight for presidency for volleyball in future?
For now, I don't know. Now I want to start by coaching.
But
I
is
wouldn't talk
leadership in your
about
bucket
being
list?
president.
Is leadership in your bucket list?
I think I can. I can. For sure, for sure.
Thank you.
And I think Wanja, I think what Eliud is trying to say is he's challenging you. I see. Eliud, I see what you're trying to do. And now, Eliud, now a question to you, because you're asking about leadership and presidency and what. Okay, so would you take a leadership position? No. Would you take a leadership position in sports? Yeah. Now we are bringing it back to you. Would you take a leadership position? And if you did, in sports, what would you probably want to change? And I will tie that to a question from an anonymous follower of the webinar who is asking, do you think sports in the grassroots get enough support? So combine the two. Quickly.
I think as far as counties is concerned, it gets enough support for now. But I'm not administrator at any point in this country, and I don't have enough data to actually comment.
Okay, that's fine. So then I guess it's almost time for closing remarks, and that will have to be like really fast. But before that, Eliud, there's someone asking you, why do you support Spurs, and will you continue supporting Spurs now that Victor Wanyama left and is now playing in Canada? And
I'll continue supporting Spurs. Reason number one is that life is in Spurs. You can see a young kid being transformed into a star in Spurs. They can get that 16 kid and mold to be under 19 and under 23, and even to be in the LI team. If you actually get a chance and visit Spurs one time, you will enjoy and you will be a Spurs a follower forever. So I will still stick to the Spurs.
Okay, fine. Sorry, Victor Wanyama. Sorry, Timothy Olo Bululu, for that question. You had the answer. And I think, Wanja, we won't even have time to come to you for closing remarks. But thank you very much for being part of the webinar and for inspiring young Janet Wanjas. And Eliud, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule. We know you have an early day tomorrow going back to your village to supply and relief during this pandemic. And yes, I guess that's about it. Strong mindset. It has been the 7th National Olympic Committee of Kenya Sport Conference. And today we were focusing on discipline and mindset. Janet Wanja and Eliud Kipchoge joining us tonight. And remember, this marks the end of the first session, but the first round of the sports conference webinars from the National Olympic Committee of Kenya. Stay tuned for more sports conferences that will be coming on the second round. We will be bigger, more informative. Do stay with us, keep training. The pandemic will soon be over.